So one of the funniest stories that happened to me was at a mall, right? As I mentioned before, I'm a nice guy. Whenever I would bump into people, I would say, I'm sorry. Usually it's the other person's fault because I can't see them, right? And I bump into them. But, maybe it is my fault too, of course, I'm going to bump into people here and there. So I shouldn't say it's the other person's fault, right? But, I'm always nice. I say, I'm sorry, and I go on about my day. But anyways, so I went to the Hip, which is a mall here in Chicago. And I was with my cousin and my sister, right? And they wanted to go to Forever 21, which is predominantly a girls' store. I think they have like a little section of boys, but I don't really shop there. And I wanted to go to Champs, right? I wanted to go look at some shoes. And this was very, very early on, maybe I think their senior year, I want to say, in high school. And so I told them, you know what? I'm going to walk to Champs by myself. And they were like, all right, but use your cane. And I was like, nah, I got this. I don't need my cane. I know where it is. I'll get there. So then I start walking and, things are going okay. But then I get to a point where it starts getting a little crowded and I start feeling a little anxious to the point where I'm like, oh shit, I'm going to bump into somebody or something, right? And I'm like, man, maybe I should take my cane out. And then all of a sudden I see that there's a mom coming with a stroller, right? And she's coming straight at me. And so I noticed it, so I moved to my left so that she can pass with the stroller, right? But when I moved to my left, I bumped into something and I grabbed it and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, right? And as I'm saying, I'm sorry, I realized that what I'm talking to is a goddamn sign. It's one of those signs that are usually at the mall that's promoting something that's like pretty tall, like a big tall square. But I say, I'm sorry, it's just something that's just automatic with me. And so I'm there saying, I'm sorry. And then I realized that there's, people close to me who I guess saw me and hear me. And they kind of start chuckling. And I could, kind of see somebody's faces they're smiling, what is he doing? I'm a crazy guy, right? I don't know. And so I get a little red. And then I'm like, you know what, take your cane out. You got to take your cane out, right? So I take my cane out, and it's funny because when I took my cane out and started using it, their reactions, it was just like priceless. I was able to kind of see some of their faces, and it just looked as if they were like, oh shit, we laughed at somebody who's blind, I don't know. And so I laughed as I was walking away. I didn't really laugh ha ha ha, right? But I just kind of smiled and kind of laughed away. And in my head, I was like, I got the last laugh, right? But anyways, that was a story that I shared with my family, and I shared it with my sister and my cousin. When we were on the way home, I was like, you guys would not believe what happened to me. So the lesson there was I should have been using my cane so that I wouldn't do something embarrassing like that, right?